Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show, Kingmaker, Season 3, Session 8. I think I said that correctly. If I didn't, blame Neil. What's up, everybody?
How could you not say that correctly?
Because I just forget things. I'm an old man, a bad memory. All right, I'm going to switch over the music, and I feel like when I do this, it might have like a little bit of a pop in volume. So be prepared for that. 1 second. Because for some reason, it is on the wrong channel. That's not too loud. Okay. Let's fix it quickly before it is, though. And there we go. Okay, cool. So something happened at work I thought you guys might find amusing, being non-Americans. So a person recently transferred into my location. And I noticed over the course of like 2 days of working with them that 3 different times they happened to mention a particular thing. One time they were like, oh, wow, you got quite a mix of people here. Another time they said, oh, you know, way out in Plymouth, Mass, it's pretty much just white people. And then a third time they said, there's a lot of languages around this area, isn't it? So finally I said, just because like we happened to come across very shortly after that third comment, the conversation on social media, I was like, oh yeah, I deleted my Facebook, 4 years ago, and I really didn't use it before that. I keep Twitter mostly because they don't know what I do, right? I keep Twitter mostly because, it's how you have to get the news nowadays. If I want to hear what my president has to say, I have to look at these all caps hammering at a keyboard with a bunch of misspellings and poor grammar. It's really upsetting that that's how my president chooses to communicate with the world, but you live in the times you do, right? And she goes, yeah, but you check on your 401k? And I was like, and she triggered her so hard. It was so funny. So of course I did like another poke, and she went like full on, like, ah! And I was like, yes, got her. I was like, you mentioned race 3 times in 2 days. You're definitely a Trumper. Woo! Called it. All right. Anyways, I was amused by it. I thought you guys might be. Anyways.
I enjoyed that.
Thank you. And I'm taking my vitamins to make Neil happy, so.
Well, you are right. That story was neither sad nor funny.
You're welcome for being honest. All right. I think we're good. Boys. Jake, where did you leave off last?
I believe he didn't get started.
A sea of doors.
A sea?
Probably open or pointing, I guess.
A sea of doors?
Yes.
Where do the hamburgers go to dance? The meatball.
What? Oh, nice.
Always weirded me out how you call them hamburgers.
What do you call them?
Burgers.
Oh, yeah, hamburgers just like, I suppose.
A beef burger, not a hamburger.
I honestly, I don't know why, and I have no opinion on the matter.
Did you see the look on Scott's face of like his mind just like went...
Well, no. Obviously it's not made out of ham. It's just, I don't know why they're called that. I don't know. No, I have no opinion on the matter either. It's just a burger. I don't know.
You don't think it's strange?
I just don't care. I mean, I suppose it's a little off, but you also say vitamin as opposed to vitamin. So, I don't know.
But that's just a thing that we say. But it's like, it's not factually wrong, is it?
I mean, a hamburger's not factually wrong.
It is.
But just because you add 3 letters to the beginning of a word doesn't mean those 3 letters by themselves are now a part of an ingredient in the word.
So what if you come into my house and I'm like...
I would say your house is quite homely.
Would you like a green tea? And you're like, sure. And then I give you a black tea and you're like, oh, I thought I was getting green tea. And I'm like, no. We just call it green tea. But actually it's a black tea.
No, but that's different because green tea and black tea are previously established things. A hamburger's not a previously established thing, right? Like, I honestly don't care either way. Why are we having this conversation?
Because it's important. We're tearing down hamburgers a place in Germany. That's true. Could come from there.
Sure. I'll take that from John. Thank you, John. You fight the good fight with Neil.
It's borrowed its name from Hamburg-style beef or Hamburg steak, which arrived in the United States from the German city of Hamburg in the 19th century, along with other things from Germany.
Cool story, bro. Listen, I'm just saying that we should start another army and that we should make the commanders of the army be John and Green, and the army's whole purpose should be to attack Neil and his decisions in this campaign.
I'll have you know, Norway never attacks my decisions. Thank you very much.
No, you're right. He actually, just the morality of the decisions after they were already made.
He attacks the morality of Rayren's decisions. He's
Oh.
very clear that one should make a distinction between the character and me.
You know what? To be fair, you are correct. You are correct. Because Norway's a good person, as opposed to Rayren. So we should continue with your story there. Everybody knows I just like triggering Neil. I actually like the character.
That doesn't trigger me. I'd not put him down as good. He's like true neutral or lawful neutral, I think. Let me have a look. He's not evil.
I never said he was. Never
That's
said
what
he
your
wasn't
face
either.
said.
So it's your turn, Jake.
Yeah, lawful. Oh no, lawful evil. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah. All right.
So Sea of Doors. When you last left off, I believe there were 3 doors that you hadn't opened yet, correct?
Yeah. 2
one-
down in the vault and another one somewhere else.
Correct. So the 2 in the vault were the ones that were actual iron doors and whatnot. The one up above was the one that seemingly should have been easier to open, but unfortunately it still couldn't be opened. Now, I believe you and I had discussed recently that there were ways that you can, this is after that session, like 73 weeks ago, that you could have, poor Jake's just been sitting there all session, anytime we've had one. So, you could have, you could do a couple of different things to increase your likelihood of succeeding. First of all, to try to bust down the door and just take a 20, it takes about 2 minutes of smashing on it, right? So anything that lasts for over 2 minutes gives you an enhancement. Also, if the door is more injured, that reduces the DC for you to bust it down as well. Remind me, sir, what is your strength modifier to attempt to break down a door? So if you took a 20, you can get what?
23.
So you get a 23, and I believe I was saying to open up an iron door.
I think it's a DC 30.
No, less than that. It's a 28. So there were other things that you had as modifier, because I want to say you missed it by 2 that session.
We were talking about probably 2 passing full strength or something, and getting the strength up to make it a 25.
Yep.
And then if he aids, that's a +2. However, I'm not sure if you can, if I get the other orcs to aid, it can give me an additional thing at all.
So unfortunately, it's one of those things where if you want to have the aid, they're only going to give you the total of the 2. You know what I mean? Kind of like as you smash the door, like a shoulder into it, they're going to wedge something in and kind of like try to pry it a bit, and then smash the door again. And they kind of pry it a little bit more. Like but you can't. Like more people is not going to make that any easier for you. So that gets you to a 27. What you've just discussed, because I assume you do have bull strength on you as a potion or otherwise. Is there anything else you can do to try to increase your ability to bust down a door or a DC? Or reduce the DC?
No, however, there is a cleric spell that could help, but I'm just checking what level it is.
Yep, go right ahead. You look like a ghost right now.
Me?
Yeah, when you switched your monitor to a white
What?
screen, it's like reflecting off your face.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, that's so funny. You're good, you're good. See if you can find your spell. We're going to give him a moment to look that up. Dun, 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 dun. So I've thought about getting a better camera. I was going to chat while he's looking. I thought about getting a better camera. I was like, oh, there's a camera I can get that's like 4K quality. So it's better for like zoom, this, that, the other thing, like zooming in. So you can have it like set further back and zoom in and still look the same quality or whatever. And then I realized that zoom caps out at 720p for its quality. And this one's already at 1080 with one zoom, which is going to be probably around 720. And I was like, I guess not. It's just going to be a waste of money because it won't have any effect on the streams. Oh, well.
I can't find it. I found it the other day, but now I cannot find it.
Okay, then instead of looking at that, just so you know, if an object is injured by half or more of its health points, it also reduces its DC by 2. Now, an iron door, just to go over numbers here, has a hardness of 10, which that means, in case you don't remember, Jake, a hardness of 10 means that you have to do at least 10 points of damage to at least 11 points of damage to do 1 point of damage. Do you have the ability to consistently deal over 10 points of damage to an object?
Let me have a look.
Someone could cast guidance? What? Not on an object, not on a trick that, I should say, something that lasts for 2 whole minutes.
How many times? 2 minutes.
Yeah, the problem is it's just a matter of it because it lasts 2 minutes. If you had another spell or something that gave you just a +1 to skill checks.
Probably do. Hang on a sec. One is it judgment, justice?
Fire. It's an iron door. Lots of fire. It's an iron door. I feel that won't really, unless it's like superheating the door, it's not really going to do that much.
No, I can hit for a minimum of 8 every time. So.
Oh, that's okay, because that doesn't have to be done over specifically 2 minutes. That's just the door needs to be injured. So you can hit for a minimum of 8 points of damage. Now, is your weapon magical? Please remind me.
No, it's not.
So it's one of those things where, because your weapon's not magical, if you wanted to, you could just sit there and smash and smash
You
and
know
smash
what weapon is magical?
The one that's
very hot.
The one that's under a pillow.
One of the orcs' axes.
Their axes are poorly crafted, so you could definitely take an axe and start smashing the door, and eventually it would break. Then grab another one and smash at the door, and eventually it break. And they'd be like, "Oh, you know, like when you borrow your friend's skateboard and then you snap it, and you're like, thanks, bro,' and you hand it back, and they're like, but Tony Hawk signed that. That's the only skateboarder name I know.
Let's have a look.
Oh wait, and Sean White. He skateboards too.
I don't know who the second one is.
You can, Jake, I'm telling you that you can do that. But more or less, you're going to be smashing through weapons. You're going to be hurting your hands, so on and so forth. This is an option you can take.
Can 2 cast magic weapon?
Actually, he can. He is a cleric.
We could do that.
Yeah, 2 could probably do that. Honestly, give me 2 seconds, actually. 1 sec. Talk to Neil about your problems while I double check this one detail real quick.
I'm getting really sick of doors. Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Really sick of spending time with these damn doors.
My problem is, I ate an apple just, and I've got a cold at the moment, and so I had some Bulbasaur, and I think my apple has been infused with that. So I had like a mentholy apple, which was vastly unpleasant. You know, it was kind of like a menthol cigarette. You know, it doesn't make it better.
No.
Next campaign, door maker. It's just glug mug. ASMR door making.
Okay, I found out what he could do for you. So more or less so I imagine there's a moment where you kind of go up to 2 and you're like, you know, kind of like one of those like 2 in Frogar's name. Like, what can we do to solve this problem? I need to blast at this fucking door. Sort of a situation, right? Mm-hmm. So what you're gonna do is you're actually gonna have 2's gonna think for a moment, and he's not the most thinky person, but he's gonna think for a moment, and he has 2 spells he's gonna be able to use to assist you in this. Ones that make sense that he would have during these combats. Things like, I don't know if he would have cast them prior to this in the battle, but we'll just say he hasn't to get us through the problem, right? Because one of them would have been specifically what you just said, magic weapon, +1 enhancement bonus to attack roll and damage rolls, yay. And that means your minimum damage is 9. The other spell he would do is a 2nd level spell, Weapon of Awe. It lasts for 1 minute per level, which means that it'll only have about 5 minutes worth of effect, right? Because he's or 4 minutes worth of whatever he is, worth of effect, which isn't that long, but it does make it so that your overall damage, because it gives you +2 sacred bonus, is +3, meaning you do a minimum 1 damage. A door has 30 HP. So the reason why this is important for timing is because could you just smash through, and we'll call it 40 rounds, could you smash through one of these doors? Yes. But the problem is you need to do at least 30 points of damage. So I want you to do me a favor, and just to sum up 10 rounds, could you roll me /roll 10d, what do you roll, d8?
Yeah.
/roll 10d8 for me. And I'll get to why this is important in a moment. You leave them alone, Neil. Stop prostrating yourself in front of chat. Okay, so in 1 minute of smashing, you're able to mangle up the door so much, you're pretty confident that you're going to be able to do what you need to get this one open. You still have a couple minutes left of the spell on you. Would you want to go over to the other door, the other iron door, and smash that one as well?
Yeah.
Okay. You can run over to that one really quickly and just try to smash that one. And once again, you can just do like a whole minute of smashing. And now I'm imagining the GIF with the pony. God damn it. By the way, I put that inside Maggie's chat, like for Unsung Fury. I was like, somebody said smashing, so I put that in there. And everyone was like, Scott, what the fuck's the matter with you? Why do you have this GIF? I was like, no, if you type smashing into, like, it doesn't pop up when I type that word into Discord. I was like, no, I swear, I'm innocent. They're like, okay. So I'm like a bad person on Maggie's channel. I'm like the bad guy. Go ahead, whatever.
You're the bad guy here as well.
I'm fine with that.
The difference is chat are also bad guys.
So roll another 10d8.
Yes, please.
I use guys in a gender dating server, by the way, guys.
Beautiful.
I don't want to.
You smash up that door. Now, sir, you could if you wanted to, because that's 2 minutes out of the supposed 4 minutes. It would take you less than a minute to run upstairs and start trying to smash that door up there too. If you're like, I'm just gonna waste away at these doors to try to like smash them open just to make it happen. I have no problem with you doing that, but because like you've just spent 2 minutes plus a little bit of time running, just like straight on, like that's not easy work. I don't know if you've ever split wood, but this is like splitting wood in a rage.
I won't do that.
Okay.
I have a plan for that. The door's protected by magic. So if I have a rest to can cast a spell, magic or something, I think. Something like that.
Okay.
And we can try that later. But I've got these 2 doors to deal with whoever is down here first.
Scott is a bean.
I don't know what that means, unfortunately.
There's some English slang for bean. I doubt that's what they mean, but
No, it probably is exactly what they mean. What is it? What does that mean?
It's a clitoris, Scott.
Oh, I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm cool with it. Yeah, okay. I'm an excitable little nodule. You can call me a nub.
Oh no. And that's it. Norway has left the chat.
Anyways, let's keep going.
Yeah.
So you spend over 2 minutes smashing at these doors, running between them, so on and so forth, trying to get them all mangled up. And you successfully do so. It's one of those things where you can imagine. I was gonna have to make you make a fortitude save, but because you stopped, you don't have to. You're out of breath. You're pouring sweat. Your hands are literally vibrating. It's one of those moments where like your hands don't hurt yet because they're so numb and vibrating from just the straight smashing your fucking axe against an iron door. So like your hands, but you know you're gonna be feeling that for the next couple of days. You all the way up to your elbows. You know tennis elbow is. Like all the way up to your elbows, you can feel like those micro fractures just starting to like barely settle in. Like it's not so fun. Your shoulders and your back hurt. You're pouring sweat, like I just said. Don't take it off. The girls will swoon. So finally the doors are kind of like mangled. I imagine at this point in time you kind of catch your breath, and then pop open the bowl strength, glug, 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 and then we'll go over and start ripping away at the door. And this, again, it's kind of like another scene like you'd imagine, like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, where he like goes over to the door and he like grabs a bit of the iron, and he starts like bending the iron and ripping and pulling at the door, while a couple of knuckleheads are around with like a crowbar trying to rip at it too, blah, blah, blah. So, Jake, I imagine you just spend the 2 minutes going over to one of the doors, just trying to like rip it open, right?
Yeah.
When you finally do rip open the door, because you do so, it takes again about another 2 minutes. Oh, how long did you wait to catch your breath? Just like a couple of minutes, or did you want to like take a bit of time?
I mean, I'm not in no rush. I'd probably take 5 minutes or so.
Okay, yeah.
How long I'm supposed to? So I'm not too out of breath, I guess.
Is there anything else you do that short gap of time, or just kind of like sit there?
No, he'd probably just sit there and just kind of recuperate. Probably have some small talk with too.
Could you do me a favor and roll me a sense motive check, please? Just remember that I have this like very distracting background on. Sorry about that.
I don't like that background. Change it to something serene.
One second. Where is it? It's a bone devil. It's just too big of an image for it to work.
That certainly is a bone devil.
You panicked me for a second because I kind of tuned out, and then I thought you were talking about what was behind the door.
All right, there we go.
It's actually just one of those doors like where you have to use a thumb latch to open it, and they just none of them know what they're doing.
All right, so moving on. You sense motive. One of the things that you notice is that the men that are with you, or women that are with you, the orcs, I should say, gender neutral. They're all like extremely impressed by like the amount of like strength that you have. But most importantly, like as you're kind of like sitting there trying to catch your breath or whatever, like not only are they like having this chatter, like impressed, you can clearly tell like they can see like just the sheer might of you. But what like, there's like a tone to them. Like I wonder if there's other things that he can do. And so they actually start talking about like you overhear them talking about Vaku. Like, do you think that he could get Vaku out? Because he's like, you know.
Yeah. I don't say anything.
Okay, cool. Rip Josh. So you
No, he wouldn't say anything, but you know, now that you mentioned that, like the spells they've worn off. There's not really much I can do at the moment.
No, you're fine. You like leave it alone. So you're good.
But I could embarrass myself and go up there and be like, well, now I can't do it.
Yeah, again, like you say, you just leave it alone. But they're very impressed by their ability to like rip and pull and to shred an iron door to the point where you're going to be able to once again impressively rip it open. So that's stuff. So anyways, you go over to the door, you spend about 2 minutes, and you finally rip this thing open to the point where, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's iron, right? So this is, as you're cutting at it, you're also like leaving these open like shards, like these very sharp areas. So when you finally rip it open enough, it's not like you actually like open the door like I can just walk in. I mean, you're bending it to the point where you can kind of slip through, right? So as you like rip the door open enough that you can slip through, just to make sure you don't injure yourself walking through the other side, I'm going to need an acrobatics check, or if that doesn't exist, then a dex save. But before you do a reflex save, but before you do that, wait, or escape artist. Is escape artist a thing in Pathfinder?
It is.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
we'll have that. We'll have that in a minute. But I imagine you look through the door first with your dark vision, right? So kind of like ripping the door enough, finally you can look inside. When you look through the door on the other side, what you happen to see is kind of a strange sight because it's kind of an altar. You see that there is a large open room. It's a semicircular in shape, kind of like you'd imagine, like looking from the seating area down in Orpheum, right? Where it kind of comes to a rounded edge on the other side. You know, again, semicircle out to the wall that you happen to be standing looking through, right? There's no like seats or pews or anything like that in there. Just kind of like a big open area, though a bit of like junk seems to be littered on the grounds. The room is just short enough on the other side. It's maybe about 45 feet deep. Then on the other side, you can see a massive statue sits there. When I say massive, I mean it's probably about like, I don't know, 12 feet in height. It's a pretty big statue. At first, it's a little hard to make out the details, but then you make a perception check. You can see that the statue is almost looks like, as you're kind of like trying to investigate what it is. At first, you think it's a statue of a serpent, but then as you kind of like allowing your dark vision to settle in more comfortably, you realize that while it is a serpent on the lower half, like maybe from like near like the chest or waist down, it actually has a pair of arms on the upper half and does end with a snake-like head. The statue is rather large and looking down menacingly. One of the other things that you notice as you rip open the door is you didn't notice this at first because you yourself were just like pouring sweat from the work that you were doing. But as you're kind of like once again catching your breath and looking through the door and maybe kind of like poking your head through, you actually feel that the room itself is warmer in there than it was out here. You come to realize, because don't forget it's warm down here, right? That this seems to be the room that all the warmth of this downstairs is originating from. Not that little one out there with the small sized or tiny sized, whatever it was, fire elemental that you saw. This is the room that the heat is coming from.
Okay. And you said, what is it, like a shrine? You said it is?
You think it might be because it's a large room with like I said, a statue on the other side of it. Now you can slip into the room to go investigate further, but you're gonna have to make me a like I said, an escape artist check.
One isn't stupid. So what he's gonna do instead, before he goes in there, can I make a religion check on if I can pick up any?
Yeah, absolutely. Go right ahead.
Okay. And question for you: has my skill focus came into effect yet?
Okay. I'm sorry. One more time.
Skill focus. I swapped her feet, and you said you'd tell me when I can use it.
What did you swap out? Remind me.
Power attack.
I would say after the war. You know, because when you have time to like really spend time talking to 2 and 3 and whatnot, or whatever it is, because it's skill focused religion.
Yep.
Yeah. So after the war, when you have time to have it like settle into your brain. Just so everybody knows, Neil has done this before too. The way as a DM, what I do for like retraining feats, I penalize them by losing the benefits of a feat that they already have, and then after X period of time, when I feel it's appropriate, I'll allow the other feat they're replacing it with to kick effect. Neil more or less had to go like 3 sessions without weapon finesse.
I think I went a bit longer than that.
Maybe it was longer. That's why he went from. That's why he like changed the way he was fighting, and it sucked for a while in season 1. But then he gains a new feat and learned how to fight again. Do you want to influence your religion check at all, there, sir? And I don't. I still don't think I. I don't think I ever changed the. I don't think I ever fixed the macro, but I'll have Josh remind me how to do it after this, like when we go on break.
Okay, so what he's going to do instead, if he doesn't recognize what's going on, seeing as there's heat coming from this room and it's some type of shrine.
Did you want to?
He has a weird.
You do have one die. You don't want to modify? Okay.
So I'm assuming I don't know with that roll.
I'm sorry. Say it one more time.
I said I'm assuming I don't know what it is with that roll.
It's one of those things where when you see that statue, it strikes a familiarity. Like you're like, I know I've like maybe seen an image of this before, or because you didn't grow up in Idir, right? You grew up elsewhere in a different part of the world, actually outside of Paradel, even, right? Even further east than that. So again, it's one of those like, you've seen it before, but it's one of those things where prior to your slavery in your earlier youth is probably when you saw it. So it's kind of like deep down in your earlier memory. So its significance is kind of lost on you. What I would say is this. You don't believe it to be any sort of like enemy of Vroga or competitor of Vroga the way like Aravel is. So while you're pretty sure this might be another faith, you don't see it as being like a competing or negative thing.
Okay, so what he does is he turns around and without saying anything, he walks back upstairs to the like area where all the paper and stuff is. There's that room, like the admin room or something. And he looks, he's trying to find a quill. It shouldn't be too hard, I'm assuming, in this room.
Very easy, yep.
Yep, he gets one and he comes back down. And you see he's kind of frustrated. So he then approaches where the fire elemental was.
Sure.
So as he approaches that end, does it kind of spring into existence?
See, same as always, it has those pillars that are there. I think I said that in this room, all the pillars are standing, right? As opposed to the original one where some of the pillars had been knocked down or whatever. So all the pillars are standing. And as you get like towards the latter half of the room, you can see the fire kind of spits up. And this is a tiny size. So imagine like a cat standing up and not a Maine Coon, right? Like an actual normal sized cat standing up. That's about how tall it is, right? Or like a pathetic dog, you know. Go ahead.
And then he puts his hand out slightly towards where the thing is forming, and holding the quill in one hand, he kind of snaps it and he casts voluminous vocabulary.
Oh, hold on. Choose any language except for secret language such as Druidic. The target gains the ability to speak. Ooh. The target gains it. So do you touch the elemental? Do you reach out and touch the fire to give the creature?
I don't think I have to touch it to cast it.
It says creature touched. Do you give it the ability? Give you the ability?
I don't know. I need to touch it to be able to speak its language.
Oh, my apologies. Let me be clear. I'm sorry. So I'm saying, do you give it the ability to speak your language, or do you choose to speak?
I'll choose to speak it.
Oh, you're going to choose to speak it. Okay. I didn't know how American you were. Like, talk my language. You know.
No, because there's also
you talk funny. I don't like that.
As well, and if I roll a DC 15 linguistics, I can speak another.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait. But when you cast this, you can attempt a DC 15 linguistics check. Usually, however, you can't even make a linguistics check without being trained in the skill. Oh, hey-o! Jake's like, shut the fuck up, Scott. Go ahead, make a skill check.
All right, here we go. What is it? Linguistics. Nope.
You actually don't learn any languages. You're like, I'm gonna talk fire, and instead you just like flame on.
I learn that language. Thank you. I just don't learn an additional.
Are you sure? I mean, you rolled a natty 1. I feel like we should punish you in some way. You rolled a natty 1 on a red die.
Has no fumbles. Thanks.
I feel like
you don't get crit fails on skill checks.
I feel like if there wasn't such a delay in Twitch, like I wish one of the things I could put in there was fumble. So if you roll a natty 1 or if you roll a natty 20, it's like crit fumble, crit succeed. They can like add that onto it, like tack it on, positive or negative. But unfortunately, like a 7-second delay makes it so that we'd be sitting there and be like,
yeah, we never do that on stream.
oh, I guess nothing. Okay. All right. So you, sir, learn, of course, how to speak. Hold on, Ignan. It's one of these funny things where the fire is sitting there before you, and then you realize as soon as you gain the ability to hear the language, to understand the language, that the creature was already trying to communicate with you. You just were too ignorant to understand that it was. Because Ignan is not a language that's just simply told with like the sound of taking a torch and waving it around, right? While it does have some degree of sound to it, Ignan's also told in two other ways. The way of light fluctuating, because these are fire creatures that do it, right? The way that light fluctuates, but also the way that heat patterns are affected. So it's one of those funny things where as soon as you cast a spell, you don't hear anything whatsoever. But immediately you can kind of like feel as like heat's like rolling across your face or around your hand and whatnot, just like the pattern, the way the heat is moving around you. You can already feel this creature is trying to communicate with you. Now, to be clear, while communication between Jake and Scott are going to be done with words. Communication with Ignan isn't something that's just done with like, I use spoken word to communicate. Just like how animals in the real world will communicate with like sense and body language as well. We are going to you're going to have that kind of like more subtle communication where it's like tones as well as just words, right? So one of the immediately what you're getting off of this thing as you're feeling this kind of heat is the heat is both very excitable but also very guarded. You can see that the creature is happy that you've come back. Like you can feel that it's happy that it is encountering something, right? But at the same time, you can also see that it's guarded. It feels exposed. It feels like it's on the verge of being snuffed out. So it doesn't know if it should be afraid in this moment or if you're going to be a positive encounter. I'm so sorry. I gave that information for free. You're probably going to succeed anyways. Could you just roll me a sense motive so I don't feel like an ass?
Sense motive.
And Josh has a really good description, second to last line in chat. So exactly as I just described to you, but I'm actually going to add more because you actually rolled really well. You can see that while I said those things, while it is excitable to speak to you, blah, 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 I don't want to give the impression that the creature is friendly. The creature is excitable to interact with another creature, but it's not because it's like, hey, buddy, welcome. It's more of like a neutral kind of, like, it's just excited to see another creature, but not because it's like necessarily friendly or mean. It's just that there is a encounter whatsoever.
It's just lonely. Lonely.
So go ahead, sir. That's probably loud in my microphone.
So more or less, when I cast it and I snap the quill and the spell takes effect, is it saying anything?
I love that you're casting that spell requires you to break his. It's more or less like it's like grabbing a cross or like a Star of David and like snapping it. That's how I cast my spell.
Actually, just because I've already analyzed this reaction, he just broke Chosen of the Blade, because that quill was chosen by the Chosen of the Blade. No, that was probably a bit highbrow for you guys.
No, that was just a bad joke. Like we got it.
It was just a bad joke.
It was just a bad joke. Chat. I'm gonna put a poll.
Norway loved it.
I'm going to put a poll in chat as to whether or not that was a bad joke. Please feel free to vote and let Neil know how bad that was. Hold on, just give me 1 second, and then we're going to talk. New poll. Was that a bad joke? Okay. Thank you. You guys can vote at any point in time. Jake, back to you.
Great.
Nice.
I
enjoyed that.
That doesn't.
Yeah. So was it saying anything?
So immediately, that's just the impression that you get off of it. You don't really know, obviously, about fire elementals, but that's the impression that you immediately get off of it. Go ahead.
Just kind of takes it in, and then he says, "I am one. Who are you?"
So when you say "I am one," who are you? It kind of like analyzes for a second. Now you actually say, when you speak this, when you say this, your mouth makes these like funny kind of noises. There's a lot of like back in your throat, like if you've ever heard somebody speak like different types of like say Arabic or Hebrew, there's a lot of like back of the throat kind of noises. It's kind of funny because it comes out almost like that with like not the but like the kind of like noises that come out from there. But more than that, you can actually literally feel your body pulsing like with different kind of heat. And because of the fact that you're just a half orc, you're not a creature of fire, you can literally feel parts of your body getting colder and other parts of your body getting warmer to a degree where it's like almost unsettling. But you understand what's happening as it happens. Moving on. It responds saying, "I don't know who I was, but I know that I am here now."
You don't know who you were. You're not always what you are.
So sorry, the music got really loud. It's really hard to hear what you just said. All right, say that one more time.
Um,
You don't know who you were. Go ahead.
I said, you don't know who you were. So now you've got me, Scott. But were you not always what you are?
It just responds like again. You kind of like feel a pattern that says that like affirmation. Like it understands what you said.
Okay, it understood me, but did it answer me?
That was its answer.
He said again, so you were always... What are you? I don't know what a fire elemental is or not.
I mean, you know, there's a fire elemental. I mean, you've heard of them. You've probably fought elemental before. You know what I mean? Here or there. You know.
Yeah.
Usually
Well,
small
you
ones.
just ask it, yeah, were you always an elemental?
It responds saying, "Were you always an orc?"
Wow, racist.
One would say yes.
It says, "How old are you?"
How old am I?
Jake is stumped.
He says 25.
It
How
says,
old are you?
it doesn't respond to your question. It says, "What were you 26 years ago?"
Nothing.
It gives off like a pulse of disagreement.
Would you care to enlighten me?
It kind of gives off this impression of just kind of like confusion, like it doesn't know how.
Were you ever a different race?
Again, it doesn't like really answer that question. It says, "I was once larger. I am now small. My flame is burning low."
Okay, this isn't getting anywhere. Alright, what is this place?
A bridge
A bridge to what?
to where I come from.
So I know that they're not from this plane, so you're talking about a different plane of existence. Do you want me to roll a check for that, or
Knowledge planes, yeah. It's not. Do you have at least one rank in it?
I don't think so. Would knowledge religion fit in any way?
You no. I'm gonna say no. I mean, in the future maybe yes, but for now no.
Yeah.
But you said no ranks in knowledge planes.
No ranks in knowledge plane.
Then if you at least hit a 10, you would hear of words that you would remember, like kind of words that your buddies have talked about before, because they do have ranks in it.
So you want me to just roll it?
Yep. Yep. So you hit a 10. So you remember that your friends, when you encountered the water elemental beforehand, you told them about it. That they talked about like the different planes. You also remember that you had read about the different things and whatnot, because you had read about like water. You had read about like salt and stuff like that beforehand. So you remember that over in the water one. So you get the impression that it's probably referring to a place of fire. So, but the any real degree of understanding is beyond you. You just remember that conversation was had.
Okay, so he says, so this place is a bridge to where you come from. Why are you here? And not there?
I have been placed here.
By who?
The names have been forgotten over the centuries.
Just like
you've forgotten them?
It's like an agreement to what you said, and says, remembrance of names is not something I am strong with, or I say we are strong with.
Well, perhaps you remember whose temple or shrine that is, and he gestured towards the room. The one with the large statue of a... Well, what'd you say it was again? Half a snake or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, do me a favor. Oh God, you don't have Knowledge planes. I would actually even say, give me 1 second. I want to check something before I give you an answer. 1 sec. Because don't you have the ability to know more about creatures as being a
I do have something. A monster lore.
yeah, monster lore? What does that give you?
Let me go to it. Plus wisdom mod to knowledge when identifying creatures.
Oh, didn't you just like roll that? Oh no. Yeah. It actually says it right on there. Yeah. So I would actually even say, because you have monster lore, you would even you know what kind of like the general idea of a salamander is. So it's like a snake-bodied humanoid. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's with the statue of the salamander.
Yeah. So you would say like more or less a statue of the salamander, like you said, and so it would respond saying, "I have never left this room." But it sounds like you were describing Snaga.
Who is Snaga?
Snaga the Abusive.
And he's a god.
Yes. Like again, tone of affirmation.
I've never heard of him before.
The people that put me here worshipped many gods. The people that put me here have not been for centuries. The people that are here now have destroyed temples. They want things to be forgotten.
Can you describe these people?
Which people?
People that put you here?
It thinks for a moment, and it kind of like changes its, even its tiny size, changes its shape to be like a humanoid. You know what I mean? And then it like really tries to push forward its shape and change. But like the problem is it's too vague in its design. You can roll me funny enough, a sense motive to see what it's trying to portray and like other details it's showing. You're not entirely sure what it's trying to depict, but you're also not a fool. You know who used to rule these lands, centuries ago.
So it's the mole.
That's what you're thinking.
Yeah. So then he's going to turn and say, and who destroyed the temples to make people forget?
It changes its shape again to be a bit more slender. You know what I mean? A bit more elongated, but once again, it's too hard for you to really make out what it is. But you also know, again, a little bit of the history of Adir, but most importantly, the nation that surrounds it.
Yeah, that's what I figured. All right. What is your purpose here?
To hold the bridge.
And you've done a good job so far.
My time is almost up.
What happens when your time is up?
What happens when everybody's time is up?
Does anything happen here when your time is up?
It shows confusion.
Open?
What was that?
Does the bridge open?
My being here holds the bridge open.
So when you're not here, the bridge is closed forever.
It gives you affirmation.
Can you tell me anything? You said you haven't left this room. Have others come down here?
It gives you affirmation.
Are there any that remain
Confusion.
down here? Does it have access to see the two doors?
It's inside this one. It's inside this one room, and as far as you can tell, it's never left the brazier that it's stuck in.
Okay, so it can't see the other two doors wherever they are.
No, because
I wasn't sure if
it's
they were
outside the store and then around the corner and behind. Yeah, you remember.
Okay. Have you communicated with anyone else?
Affirmation.
What did they ask?
It's been many years, but similar questions.
Okay.
Actually, it doesn't say that. It says, it's been many lifetimes, but similar questions.
Is there anything you want?
It contemplates for a moment. And then it finally responds after probably like a good 30 seconds and simply says, significance.
Or isn't what you are doing significant? Have you not already achieved significance?
It kind of gives you like a feeling of shame.
Tell me why. Why do you not think you are significant?
It kind of like it's confused. It gives off like a bit of a confusion, like it doesn't know exactly how to respond. And then after a couple of moments of like really not knowing how to respond, it finally says something along the lines of, "This is a task that was assigned to me."
You did not want it.
It was a task that was assigned to me by your world.
Do you wish to go back to your plane of existence?
I wish for significance.
It would get confusion off one. And he says, I have other things to attend to. If there's nothing I can do for you, he just kind of lets that hang there.
It's one of those things where you kind of get the, shame again off of it, but no real response.
Do you need any help?
He asks how.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking you if you need help. I can sense there is conflict or something within you. What? Can I help you? Or will you just stay here until your flame burns out?
I do not know how to leave.
We are in the process of taking the city in which this place resides. I will return with others, and we will talk to you again.
No tone or anything.
One turns to leave.
Okay. He leaves.
Yep.
Do you go back to the room that you had kind of like pried the door somewhat open?
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to make the escape artist check to go inside?
Yeah, I'll guidance myself too.
Okay.
It's just +1 on this roll.
Froga, save my nipples. Oh, because he has to squeeze in. It's like a sharp door.
Yeah. Very.
Oh, God. That is a bad check. So, fun story. When I was a kid, Jake, my buddy, my best friend, Nick, we'll actually be seeing tomorrow for a little bit. His parents, his grandfather owned a company called Standish Heating and Oil. And they would do like installations of like, forced hot air kind of like heating systems and stuff like that, right? So in part of that installations or whatever, they use a lot of like sheet metal, as you can imagine, for like duct systems. Anyways, they always had tons of scrap sheet metal behind like their business. So when we were kids, we were like, yeah, Dungeons and Dragons, we're cool. Woohoo! Combine that with a typical like nerd kind of like LARPing thing. Because I've never been LARPing like at a place because, I have a life. But you would still do it with your friends with like sticks and beat each other because, we were cool. So we would sometimes take the sheet metal and we'd make armor out of it. And that was always fun because you'd be like, oh, look at this, I have armor. Fun thing about sheet metal, it's fucking sharp. So we would like intentionally wear like hoodies like underneath the sheet metal, but that didn't stop the corners of the metal from like ripping through the hoodie, the shirt, and then your skin underneath. Because again, it's sheet metal. It's really sharp. Well, anyways, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because have you ever had a paper cut? Yeah, right? It stinks. Have you ever had a cardboard paper cut? Yeah, it's worse, right? This is a sheet metal paper cut. That's what one is going through as he's trying to push past this ripped open and broken iron door. Except not only has he cut himself in multiple places with some sheet metal like paper cuts, he's also stuck. And it's not comfortable. First of all, you take 1 point of slashing damage as you get kind of like stuck inside the door. And second of all, you are legitimately stuck. Like we're talking your arm, your head, maybe both your shoulders, but not even your other arm are kind of like through the door. Your torso's kind of like caught inside of it. Maybe like one leg is caught. You are in a completely horribly precarious position. And you're stuck. Ow.
Can I just take more damage and try and force my way through, like, with a strength check or something?
You're not going to be Ginger. You're just going to be like, "Arr! Knucklehead! Ah!"
Yep.
The decision made by a character, because PCs don't feel pain. One day we'll be able to VR this, and then you could be like, ow, I'm going to be more gentle with my character. Combat's bad. Yes, you can try again. Do me a favor. Make me a strength check. He is like Vaku now.
Oh, fuck's sakes.
Three more points of slashing damage as you try to rip your way through, and all you do is rip your way through your body. This is not like one cut. This is a bunch of gashes that you're doing to yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like...
I don't... My armor has like a two damage reduction thing, but I assume that doesn't apply as it's like my whole body.
Actually, I would say that your armor does assist in the matter. Yeah. I would say because it's your whole body, like you were saying, like I would reduce it down to 1, so it's minimum 1.
Yeah. So
you're just taking 2 total. I'm fine with that. Yeah, that's cool. I forgot about that, honestly. All right, cool. So you want to try again?
He's gonna yell back to 2, and he's gonna be like, "Fucking caught in this door. Little help."
And then one of the orcs named Anno says, "This is my kind of OG kink." So they come over and they, honestly, it's one of those things where they come over and they're going to try to, in the areas where it's like particularly sharp, to like wedge something between you and it, like a strap of leather or something like that, to try to make it so you can get there. Maybe try to pull you back a little.
Walks over, wedges his fingers in between. He's like, "Oh." That's my opinion of 2.
All right.
He's like, "Don't worry, my bones stopped it."
So I have the answer for you right here. Do you want some of that, Jake?
What?
Right there. A little bit of this. A little bit of that.
It's not clear for us, but I'm presuming it's a loophole.
So they're going to try to help you again. Roll another escape artist. They're giving you aid.
Jeez. I'll guidance myself again as well.
In the name of Froga! You know, you're going to like pull your leg and like lift it so you end up like flopping down on the floor on the other
there's
side.
There's like one squeezing through this
God.
and then it flashes over.
So
Wherein's like covered in blood, like stabs a man. A blade scrapes across his armor, and then it cuts back to 1. It like.
The funny part is the DC was only a 10, so they finally do like pull your legs and like lift you up or whatever, and it's just like hard collapsing on the floor on the other side, like ugh, and like a little bit of blood like pulls around you, but not before, of course, you get hurt a little bit more since you're in there. -2, you take 3 more points of damage as they're like pulling and like shoving, like, pull, shove, pull, shove, and slices you a bit, and then finally get like a nasty gash on like your lower thigh or something, and then again, you're lying on the floor, you're inside. Yay.
Yeah, alright, now I'm going to get up slowly,
Yep.
and then I will investigate this room.
So you start walking around the room, trying to investigate it. One of the things, like I said beforehand, this room is definitely the warmest room. It's warmer than outside there by far. In Fahrenheit, it's like a good almost 100 degrees inside this room. Like, it is very warm. Feel free to convert that for those of you that know how. I don't know. It's probably like 10 degrees Celsius or something. Your system makes no sense. So you are able to kind of like make your way around the room. Like I said, there's like a bunch of stuff that's on the floor inside this room. What do you do as part of your investigation? Do you just want to like search, like perception check, walk around? Do you like look through the stuff? Do you walk up to the statue? Like, what's the general plan here first?
Well, he's gonna take stock of the room first, so he's gonna walk around the room, inspecting everything, and then he'll turn his attention to, what's in the room. Probably the statue last.
Okay, so what's in the room than the statue? Roll me your first perception, because that's how we search in Pathfinder. And then, do you want to sift to make it quick, or do you take your time?
I mean, I could just take the 20.
Oh, if you take a 20, you're spending a couple hours. Because like it's a big room.
Like
Yeah.
All right. Well then.
Rolling would be a couple of minutes, you know.
Well, it's a shrine or something. I will sift because I think I can pick up hidden things with that as well. So.
Sure. You can try that, and then the one basic thing that you can see with your naked eye, as at the beginning of the description. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So, -5.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Beautiful. Do you want to luck your 27?
27's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty high. So usually once you get over 25, unless you're dealing with something like epic, you don't really need anything else.
I'm sifting as well, so it's picking up other things.
Yeah. So one of the first things that you notice without even needing to roll a perception check is that, like I said, this is a shrine. It was like a semicircle. It came to the end behind where the statue was, came out to the flat wall on this side that you walk through. You came through the door. You got all fucked up, whatever it was. Then you look across the wall that you just came through. Hey, guess what? There's another iron door over there that's kind of like chopped at and messed up. Oh, look at that. 2 iron doors came to the same room. It was like 2 entrances to the same room. So that more or less, there's another door over there that you can, in theory, open up or whatever to get in or out of this room. Okay? Just so you're aware.
Okay.
Walking around the room, just kind of like quickly sifting it. I imagine this isn't one cast, but maybe like a good 3 castings of the spell to make sure you get the whole room. Take maybe like a total of 30 seconds or whatever it is to really take in the room. You look around, there's a bunch of stuff on the ground, as I just said beforehand, but nothing here is junk, as I was describing it beforehand. You actually, in walking around the room, you find that there are a few different items on the floor that really catch your attention. For one, there's a tome that's sitting there that has like strange markings on it. Another thing that you find when you walk inside this room is there happens to be robes that are inside here that are just like flopped on the grounds, like somebody just taking them and like throwing them on the grounds. Another thing that you find in the room is a shield. That's over there. Like there's a few different just items that are sitting on the floor, and all of them, while certainly old, are maintained fairly well. I mean, if you imagine, this room isn't exactly humid, so you don't have to deal with rot of that. It's warm, so, I mean, that doesn't really add to decomposition or anything like that. There's not really a weathering effect. There's no, rain or wind or anything down here. So however long they've been, they've kind of held themselves perfectly fine, just lying here on the floor. That's what you get, like, walking around the room, just seeing these various items there. As like secret doors or hidden compartments or anything along those lines, nothing. Not a one. It's just an open semicircular room that comes to a flat wall on the opposite side. Now you're going to walk up to the statue itself, and you want to investigate it. I mean, just walking up to it, you can see that it is a large and impressive looking, as I had already said, what's the word I'm looking for? Salamander. A large and impressive looking salamander that's standing there. You notice that it actually holds in its hands like a large spear, but not an actual spear made out of like iron or anything like that. Like just like everything else with the statue, it's made out of like stone. One of the cool things with the stone is it actually has, kind of like, mole architecture always has that bit of metal weaving through its stone. This also has like a bit of something weaving through the stone, but instead of being like a metal, it's like a red line that kind of pulses. A gentle, light pulsing red line that's there. And you kind of like investigate it further. It's not like a patterned pulse. It just seems to pulse of its own, kind of like throughout the body. Almost start with the chest and kind of like pulsing throughout the rest of the body and the tail or whatever that's there. You then realize that with this pulsing, which doesn't have a pattern to it, the waves of heat come off of it. This statue clearly is the originator of whatever heat is inside this entire lower chamber that's down here.
Okay, well, one doesn't know what to make of that. This is something he would need Elliot to look into. He probably thinks to himself maybe this has something to do with the gate, the bridge that the elemental was talking about. However, even if it was, one doesn't want to go there. So, being that there's nothing else to do, I guess if there's nothing else around, we're going to head back up.
Sure. Do you, just out of quick curiosity, do you touch the statue at all, or no, you leave it be?
I ain't touching a statue.
Okay.
It's so like, it just puts you on edge when your DM's like, just to be sure, did you take this specific action?
Well, because he said he investigated it, but investigation is usually...
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, not necessarily. I could investigate a crime scene, and I probably would DNA. Yeah.
Yeah, you investigate a crime scene by like picking up the object, looking at it, putting a marker there, putting it back down. After you take
but
pictures.
I don't just stroke my hand down.
Said he stroked his head. We're not playing
Well,
Dark
if
Sun.
I was investigating like a statue, I would run my hand down it.
Listen, I just wanted to know if you went full-blown Mathis on the statue. That's all I want to know. You know what I mean? Did you reach from behind? Did you know what I'm saying? No, nothing.
Who's Mathis?
Mathis Cuddy. No, run.
Oh, no.
So anyways, you're gonna leave this room. Do you try to open the door?
Yep.
The one that you came through, or the other one?
Probably the other one.
The other one from this side, you're going to be able to unlatch to open up. It does seem like it's locked from the inside, like again, like a large, I guess, deadbolt or whatever you want to call it, like latch. You can open that, and this one, it does, scrape a bit on the floor, but it doesn't require. Even wherein has enough muscle to push the door open if he needed to. So you push the door open. You get the impression that the other one might not be able to open so much anymore. But either way, so you can open the door and come out this side without scratching your nipples any further. With you looking to leave the downstairs finally through this one door and investigating down here a bit, why don't we take a quick break? And I'm going to have Josh walk me through fixing the daddies and dice. So we'll be back in just a moment, everybody. Don't go anywhere unless it's to pee. Then just do it quickly.